She's the idol who says, "I don't deserve family," with the same energy most people order coffee. The girl who mastered an ancient Korean war weapon but came from a family of CEOs. The one member of Huntrix whose backstory is literally 3 words: wealthy, traditional, black sheep. That's it. And after weeks of investigation, I finally cracked the code on why Mira believes she's fundamentally unworthy of love. And when I show you the evidence I found, it's going to completely shatter how you see her character. Because here's what doesn't add up. How does a billionaire's daughter end up with combat skills that take decades to master? Why does even a mystical healer back away from reading her? And most importantly, why does she say, "I don't get to have family," like it's a fact of the universe? Not can't have, not won't have, but don't get to have. That specific phrasing has been haunting me, and combined with visual evidence hidden in plain sight throughout the film, it points to something so devastating that her family still can't say what really happened. Today, we're exposing the truth behind that problem child label. Because it's not about rebellion. It's about a specific incident her family has been covering up for 15 years. And before we dive in, remember, director Maggie Kang herself said Mira is a wreck on the inside, but doesn't really seem like it. The creator is literally telling us there's massive hidden trauma here. So let's find out what could possibly wreck someone this badly. The mystery that nobody's talking about. So let's start with the biggest plot hole that everyone just accepts without questioning. Mira is established as coming from a wealthy, traditional Korean family. We're talking chaebol level wealth here. But she's also a master of the woldo, a traditional Korean polearm that requires years of formal military training to wield effectively. This isn't something you pick up at your local dojo. This is elite warrior-class weaponry that historically only the Hwarang warriors and royal guards were trained to use. And here's what makes this even stranger. Wealthy Korean families don't train their daughters in ancient combat arts. They train them in violin, piano, multiple languages, and business management. So how does a chaebol heiress become a weapons master? And more importantly, why would she need to be? But the real breakthrough came when I rewatched the healer hand scene frame by frame. This is a mystical healer who can instantly read people's deepest emotional states. He looks at Rumi and immediately sees she has walls up, so many walls. Then Mira's the one who adds, she's also a workaholic, showing how well she reads people. He glances at Zoe and picks up on her people-pleasing, eagerness to please, maybe a little too eager. But when he tries to read Mira, nothing. His eyes go wide, he physically backs away, and he can't see anything. This isn't resistance, you guys. This is a complete void where memories should be. And in psychology, there's only one thing that creates walls that thick: severe childhood trauma that the mind has completely locked away as a survival mechanism. The family portrait that reveals everything. Now, let's talk about that family portrait scene, because the visual storytelling here is absolutely devastating. In the first appearance, Mira's family faces are completely blurred while she sits clearly visible in an ornate chair. Fans have been interpreting this as artistic representation of her separation from family, but I realized it's actually showing us something much deeper. She literally cannot look at their faces. This isn't them rejecting her. This is her mind protecting her from something too painful to process. And here's the kicker. During the Golden performance, when she's at her most powerful and self-actualized, their faces become clear just as she violently kicks them away. She can only face them through anger because anger is safer than the emotion underneath. Here's where my theory started crystallizing. Listen to what happens during the final battle when Gui Ma attacks each girl psychologically. The demon whispers in Mira's mind, "You thought you found a family. You don't deserve one. You never have." This is targeted manipulation. Guima knows exactly what wound to press. And watch what happens next. When Zoe asks, "What are we gonna do without Rumi?" Mira, now under Guima's influence, responds, "There is no we, Zoe. I don't get to have a family." Then she walks away. This specific phrasing is crucial. Even under demonic manipulation designed to break her, she doesn't say family doesn't want her. She says she doesn't get to have it. This is the language of someone who believes they forfeited their right to something. It's self-imposed punishment, not external rejection. Guima didn't plant this belief, he exploited what was already there. And then there are her reddish-pink hair. Everyone celebrates Mira's reddish-pink hair as an act of rebellion, but what if it wasn't a choice at all? Eagle-eyed fans have spotted demon-like symbols in her accessories, and here's where it gets devastating. What if that reddish pink is actually a manifestation of latent demon heritage that activated during the incident? In the K-pop Demon Hunters universe, we know demon traits can be hereditary, like Rumi. What if Mira's Chaebol family has been hiding supernatural connections for generations? The reddish pink, not quite human black, not quite demon red, could represent diluted demon blood that only manifested when triggered by extreme emotion. That red undertone, that's the demon showing through. Here's what makes this even more tragic. Based on the family portrait, young Mira was already showing signs, maybe strange dreams, unusual strength, or an unsettling intensity that made her family nervous. They probably tried to suppress it through traditional discipline. But demon blood can't be disciplined away. And notice something crucial in that family portrait. Everyone else has black hair. Pure human black. Mira's reddish pink stands out like a warning sign. While her family could hide their demon heritage beneath normal appearance, Mira manifested visibly. She became the one who couldn't pass as fully human, the evidence they couldn't hide. Imagine the scene, an 8-year-old girl being scolded again for being too wild, her family trying to force her to be normal, to hide what they all knew was inside her. The pressure building, a younger sibling maybe defending her or just being in the wrong place. And then the snap, her demon nature exploding out in a moment of childish frustration that turned catastrophic. The reddish-pink hair appeared instantly, marking her transformation. And in that moment of uncontrolled demon power, someone she loved paid the price. This brings us to her weapon choice. And you guys, this is where everything clicks into place. The Woldo isn't just any weapon. It's specifically designed to keep enemies at a distance. 6-foot pole, 3-foot blade. It's a weapon of space, of control, of never letting anyone get too close. Every time Mira spins that weapon, she's creating a barrier. Every strike maintains distance. It's the perfect weapon for someone who's terrified of what happens when they lose control up close. Someone who learned young that proximity can mean tragedy. The 3 words that hide a tragedy. During Golden, Mira sings, "Called a problem child 'cause I got too wild." Past tense, one specific incident, not "I was wild," indicating ongoing behavior, but "I got too wild," a single moment where something catastrophically went wrong. And then immediately after, "But now that's how I'm getting paid." This line is devastating when you understand it. She's not just saying she became a performer, she's saying her wildness, the demon nature that killed someone, is now her job. She gets paid to hunt demons. She makes money destroying creatures like herself. It's the ultimate dark irony, profiting from hunting your own kind. But there's another layer to black sheep we need to discuss. In Korean families, being the black sheep isn't just about rebellion. It's about bringing shame that affects the entire family's reputation. And what could be more shameful than a child with demon blood in a family pretending to be purely human? She wasn't just different. She was living proof of their hidden supernatural connections. You don't build walls that high unless you're trying to keep something monstrous inside. The theory that explains everything. Here's what I believe happened, and fair warning, this is gonna hurt. Young Mira, probably around 8 to 10 years old based on the family portrait, was already showing signs of her demon heritage, strange behaviors her family labeled as wild, an intensity that made them uncomfortable. They tried to suppress it through discipline, tradition, shame. But you can't shame away demon blood. You can't discipline away a supernatural inheritance. And one day, during another attempt to make her normal, during another scolding about being too wild, something snapped. Maybe her younger sibling tried to defend her. Maybe they were just there when the pressure became too much. But in that moment of childish frustration mixed with supernatural power, her demon abilities exploded outward for the first time. She didn't just lose control. Her demon nature emerged. The reddish-pink hair appeared instantly. It was catastrophic, and she ended up killing someone she loved unconsciously in her uncontrolled state. And then comes the cover-up. As in Korean high society, certain things are never discussed. Mental illness, disability, and especially accidental death within the family. When you have chaebol-level wealth, problems disappear. Hospital records get altered. Witnesses stay quiet. The official story becomes an accident. The family story becomes problem child. But Mira knows the truth. She remembers the moment her power manifested. She remembers what it did. And she's been carrying that knowledge every single day for 15 years. And wait, this gets even darker. What if Mira's family wealth itself comes from supernatural connections? I have been reading theories about demon trafficking, supernatural business dealings. What if her family has been profiting from demon-related activities for generations, keeping their own diluted demon bloodline hidden? This would explain everything: the wealth, the traditional values as cover, the extreme reaction to Mira's manifestation. She didn't just reveal herself as having demon blood, she revealed the family's deepest secret. The reddish-pink hair that won't grow out black is visible evidence of what they've been hiding for generations. This also explains why Healer Han couldn't see anything. In trauma psychology, there's something called psychological numbing, where the mind builds walls so thick that even the person can't fully access the memory. It's complete dissociation as a survival mechanism. Mira hasn't just buried this memory, she's built an entire fortress around it. Those warrants aren't keeping others out, they're keeping the memory in. The director literally told us the truth. And you guys, this isn't just my interpretation. Director Maggie Kang literally confirmed this in an interview with Mashable. When asked who her Huntrix bias is, she said, "Mine is Mira. I think she's who I want to be because she's just so cool. And that's the kind of woman that I'm like." But then she says, this woman's kind of a wreck on the inside, but doesn't really seem like it. I love that kind of vibe. A wreck on the inside? But here's what's beautiful about Mira. She turned that wreckage into something fans can't help but admire. That cool exterior everyone loves, it's armor she built piece by piece. The blunt honesty that cuts through BS, that's someone who learned lies can kill. The fierce protectiveness, that's someone making sure she never fails to protect again. Think about what she's built from her trauma. She's the one who cracks her knuckles before a fight, controlled aggression. She's the cool big sis who lets Zoe ramble endlessly, patience born from understanding what it's like to be too much. She's brutal with enemies, but infinitely gentle with friends because she knows the difference between those who deserve her blade and those who deserve her loyalty.
And that reddish pink hair standing out against her family's black, it's not just marking her as different. In a family where everyone else kept their human appearance, her demon blood literally couldn't be hidden. She was the visible proof of what they all carried inside, the one whose trauma was written in her very DNA.
Now, watch any scene with Mira's positioning in the group. She's never in the middle enjoying safety. She's always on the perimeter, facing outward, scanning for threats. This isn't training. This is trauma response. Someone who failed to protect once and will never, ever let it happen again. Her treatment of Zoe becomes especially heartbreaking in this context. Every time she protects the Maknae, she's trying to rewrite history. Every demon that threatens Zoe is a chance to save the younger one this time. This also explains how Celine found her, but here's the twist. Celine doesn't know about Mira's demon heritage. Think about it. Celine can barely look at Rumi's patterns, insists faults and fears must never be seen, and wants to banish all demons forever. Here's what makes this even more tragic. According to Korean shamanic tradition, there are two ways to become a spiritual protector: hereditary, through bloodline, or charismatic, through supernatural calling. Rumi inherited it from her mother. If Zoe's mother was the missing third sunlight sister, that's two hereditary hunters. But Celine needed a third member. Without another sunlight sister's daughter available, she had to find someone with natural spiritual abilities, someone called by destiny rather than blood. She thought she found that in Mira. What she saw was a talented girl from a wealthy family who'd been labeled a problem child, a runaway with mysterious combat skills and an uncanny ability to sense danger, someone whose intensity and natural fighting instincts marked her as Kangshimu, chosen by the spirits. She thought she was saving a troubled human girl with a supernatural calling. She had no idea those spiritual abilities were actually demon powers, that the calling was demon blood trying to surface. And Mira? She's been hiding it from everyone. Those demon-like symbols fans spotted, she wears them openly because nobody recognizes them for what they are. The reddish pink hair? Everyone accepts it as rebellious fashion. She learned from her family's rejection. Never let anyone know what you really are. This makes her story even more tragic. She's dedicating her life to someone who would reject her instantly if she knew the truth. Every day, Mira helps Celine work toward a goal that would destroy part of herself. She's the demon, pretending to be the spiritually chosen one. They also explained her training obsession and mastery in Woldo. If you believed you were a weapon that once went off accidentally and killed someone you loved, what would you do? You'd dedicate every waking moment to control. You'd master every discipline, every technique, every possible way to ensure your power never hurt an innocent person again. This is why she has master-level skills despite her age. This isn't normal training. This is obsessive preparation by someone who can never, ever lose control again. She doesn't carry this special weapon. She carries the memory of the day she became one. Now, go back and watch her fight scenes with this context. Notice how she flinches, not at violence against demons, but at any collateral damage. Watch her eyes during civilian endangerment. She's not seeing them, she's seeing who she failed to protect. Even her fashion choices make sense now. The sleeping bag at the Met Gala, she's literally wrapping herself up, containing herself, making sure nothing inside can leak out and hurt anyone. But here's what's incredible. She made it look cool. She turned self-containment into high fashion. She made emotional walls look like confident boundaries. She transformed the desperate need to protect others into the cool big sis energy fans adore. That's not just surviving trauma, that's
alchemizing it into something others aspire to be. The hatred for demons is really self-hatred. When Mira tells Rumi, "I can't wait until every one of them is destroyed," she's not just talking about demons, she's talking about herself. Every demon represents what she discovered inside her that day, the hereditary curse that activated and took someone she loved. Every kill is her trying to prove she's on the right side, that she can control what she is. Think about it. She's literally hunting her own kind. Every demon destroyed is her attempting to kill the part of herself that emerged that day. The demon-like symbols fans spotted in her accessories, she wears them like a warning label, a reminder of what she really is beneath the designer clothes and perfect choreography. Why, I knew it was too good to be true. This explains her reaction to Rumi's demon revelation perfectly. It's not about Rumi. It's about Mira's constant expectation that happiness is temporary because she doesn't deserve it. Good things are for people who haven't done what she's done. Every moment of joy with Huntrix feels stolen. But there's another layer here. When Rumi's demon heritage is revealed, Mira isn't just seeing her friend's secret, she's seeing her own reflection. Another girl hiding demon blood, another hunter who's actually hunting her own kind. The difference? Rumi never killed anyone with her demon powers. Mira did. And here's a detail that absolutely devastated me when I caught it. When Rumi tries to convince them they can still work together, her voice briefly turns demonic. Watch Mira's reaction. She immediately pulls her weapon. This isn't just betrayal or fear, this is a trauma response. The second she hears a demon voice from someone she loves, her body remembers. She's not in that moment with Rumi anymore. She's back in that childhood moment when her own demon voice emerged and destroyed everything. You can almost see it in her eyes, the reflection of a memory she can't escape. A child hearing her own voice turn monstrous right before everything went wrong. The way she grips that weapon, that's someone who learned too late that demon power can kill the people you love most. That's someone whose body is screaming, not again, never again. She's not just pointing a weapon at Rumi, she's trying to stop history from repeating herself. And here's what's even more devastating. Rumi at least had Celine who knew her secret, even if she couldn't fully accept it. Mira has no one. She's the only member of Huntrix without hunter lineage, the only one whose spiritual abilities are actually demon powers, the only one whose place in the group is based on a complete lie.
If this theory is true, imagine the sequel potential. Her family returning not for reconciliation, but for revelation. The truth coming out not through confession, but through evidence. Huntrix learning that their protector has been seeking redemption for taking a life. Imagine the beautiful tragedy that they would forgive her instantly because that's what found family does. And Mira would finally have to face the hardest truth. The only person who hasn't forgiven her is herself. And think about the pattern. Celine assembled a trio where each member represents a different type of hunter. Rumi, the hereditary hunter with demon blood. Zoe, the hereditary hunter separated from her lineage. And Mira, the false Kongshimu, whose spiritual calling is actually demon heritage. 3 girls, 3 types of deception, 1 shared destiny. The poetry of redemption. What makes this theory so powerful is how it reframes every single aspect of her character. Her weapon mastery isn't about being cool, it's about control. Her protective instincts aren't personality, they're penance. Her emotional walls aren't attitude, they're survival. She's not the muscle. She's not the mean girl. She's a walking apology trying to earn forgiveness through every life she saves. And the ultimate tragedy is that while Rumi and Zoe inherited hunter abilities meant to protect, Mira inherited demon powers meant to destroy. She's the only one whose supernatural nature took a life rather than saved one. Every day, she fights against what she is, using the very power that killed her sibling to protect others. And that brings us full circle to why this matters so much. Mira's journey isn't about finding where she belongs. It's about believing she's allowed to belong anywhere. It's about learning that redemption isn't earned through perfection, but through the courage to keep trying despite imperfection. When she finally accepts Hunter X's love, she's not just finding family. She's finally starting to believe that maybe, just maybe, one terrible moment doesn't define your entire worth as a human being. Remember what director Kang said, Mira is someone who seems cool but is a wreck on the inside. Our theory explains why she's a wreck. It's not general angst or typical rebellion. It's the specific weight of accidentally taking a life with demon power she couldn't control. That's the kind of internal wreckage that creates someone who believes they don't deserve love. So let me know in the comments, does this theory change how you see Mira's character? What details did you notice that support or challenge this interpretation? And most importantly, do you think she'll ever forgive herself? Because sometimes the heaviest chains are the ones we forge ourselves, and sometimes the greatest act of heroism is learning to set them down. And if you want more theories that reveal the hidden depths in K-pop demon hunters, make sure to subscribe, because these characters have so many more secrets waiting to be uncovered. The girl who believed she didn't deserve family found sisters who showed her that love isn't about deserving, it's about choosing each other despite the broken pieces. And that's a truth worth fighting for.